Next up, Club Nintendo is closing down. Nintendo's going to have some sort of new rewards program.
Right.
Starting January 20th, they're going to stop doing the whole accepting the codes for
Oh,
their games
no.
and all that stuff.
Where will you get your hats?
It's gonna be tough for us.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really tough for us Nintendo fans. But now here's the thing.
Lay
I'm
it
a
on
huge Nintendo fan.
Yeah.
This Club Nintendo stuff, I hit the platinum or the elite and all that stuff just because you buy the games and
Yeah.
it just naturally happens at a certain point.
Sure.
I've never gotten anything that I'm like, oh yeah, thanks guys. I really wanted that. This made
What
my
have
life
you
better.
gotten? Run me through the laundry list of things you've gotten.
Honestly, it got to the point that I stopped even picking it. I just was like, this stuff doesn't interest me enough to get it.
Yeah.
I got the playing cards. That was cool, you know, and that was the fun thing that everyone wanted. You're like, oh, I wanted those things. Then it's like, well, great. I have
these
Nintendo playing cards that I
Yeah.
could have just bought other different Nintendo playing cards and been fine for $3. You know, in Japan, there was a lot of really cool things. Like I'm super into video game music and collecting CDs and stuff. So I remember they had the Mario Galaxy 1 and I think and 2 soundtracks. And I'm like, that's awesome. And then it never came to America.
Sure.
Recently, I think the most recent thing I got was Smash Bros. Posters.
Oh, okay.
They were like posters made as they were announcing all the new characters.
Sure,
There were
sure.
like 3 different ones with like just featuring the new characters. And that's cool, but they're just posters, you know? And I guess it's one of the things that's like, well, what do I expect from this?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just buying the game. Like,
They've given out a Mario hat, though, didn't they? And a Tanuki tail, I don't know. Just the hat.
hat.
Someone's gotten a hat out of Club Nintendo. Guaranteed.
Yes. But most of the time it's just posters or just like little doodads that
And you get
that don't
coins,
matter.
right, that you can-
Well, it's the coins that you can use for your shop, but it's, you know, ridiculous amounts to get nothing. And a lot of times you can only use them for certain stuff. And it's been interesting. And it's one of those things where it's like, I want it to be better, but I don't really have an answer to what I want from it. And they say that they are rebooting it. There was going to be something new. And it's interesting to me because they've been doing this for quite a while. Like,
6 years, wasn't it?
6 years, yeah. It's
Yeah.
Like since I think the Wii was kind of the first time it like came into our beautiful world. But what do you guys like? What would you want from a reward system?
I mean, I always thought Club Nintendo was cool. I think, yeah, you're talking about all this stuff like, oh, what do you want with this kind of crap or whatever. It's like, it's swag, right? It's the same crap we get and we give away. And I call everything crap, just like I call everybody kids, right? Just like the same t-shirts and tchotchkes we get when we go to events and E3 and stuff, right? And really quickly, that stuff stops mattering because we get it all the time. But for a normal person in, you know, Joe Blow, Oklahoma or whatever, a city named after famous Joe Blow. It's a big deal, right? To get playing cards or to get a poster, to get something that's way outside of your normal realm. And it's nice to be recognized, right? Like, I like the idea of buying these games, getting rewarded for it. Like, it's always a big deal. Like, I mean, like, PlayStation does it on such a small thing of, right? Of like, oh, you spent over $100 in this month or whatever, so you get an extra $10. Or when they'll send those emails out to people who platinum games, like, you're in the 1% who actually went and got the Killzone Platinum. Congratulations. Like, gamers like being recognized. People like being recognized. So it's cool that like games you're going to buy no matter what can get you stuff, even if you don't cash them in or do anything with it. I like that idea, right? I wish more people did that. What would I want to see out of the program? Cooler things. Like it should be that a free amiibo, you know, coins that aren't out of control, right? In terms of like, okay, you're getting money off or a percentage off, something like that. Exclusive items for your me, different puzzle pieces, stuff like that.
What about you, Colin?
I agree. I think Club Nintendo had it as right as anyone had it, I guess is what I'm saying. Because people look at achievements and trophies, and they wonder, and I wonder. I'm like, well, you know, we like to get Greg and I like trophies on PlayStation. And it's like, well, what is the real point of this? But beyond the point of just, you know, having them to show up digitally. So I like the idea that Nintendo had this thing where you can buy a product and kind of register it and just get points for buying their products. It made a lot of sense, and it makes you want to buy their products, so it works for them too. And then they just kind of give you little tchotchkes and shit like that. And I like the coin idea. People have been tweeting us a lot saying like 250 coins will get you Super Metroid, which is pertinent because that's what we're doing for our first book club, our game of the month kind of book club thing on Kind of Funny. But what I would really like to see is a combination of the two. Like, I want to see trophies, for instance, on the PlayStation platforms mean something. And I want to see Sony just include little sheets, you know, of paper with their first party games or whatever, where it's like, register this and you get some points and et cetera and so on. And then you can buy little tchotchkes or get special in-game items or icons and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Just
they did that. You remember the PlayStation Rewards program where they went through and did that, where if it was just in beta, it was a test group or whatever, but I, you know, through IGN, I had to buy a million things. I was running the PlayStation channel, so I hit legendary status.
Oh yeah, and
so
you get those icons.
It gave you different icons that would say legendary.
And they got rid of that, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it just was one of those things. I'm assuming that you look at the interaction with it and how much it really mattered, and da 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 da. It wasn't a big enough deal for them, but that's what I'm talking about. Just like a tip of the hat is all anybody's ever looking for, right? Like to say, hey, you're cool. It's like on our Twitch streams, right? Like our subs get the little kind of funny guy next to him. And that's a cool way to stand out and be like, hey, I'm part of something and I do something.
And you know, what you guys are saying makes a lot of sense. And it's one of those things where I feel like if you did combine the two things, the idea of it being tied to it, you have to buy it and then you get, it's just you register this thing you bought. It's so cumbersome. And you have to go and there's a serial code. You put this in here. You have to make an email account. You have to do all this. I don't like that. I like the idea more like if it was more achievements and trophies based. That's awesome. It's you have this game, play the game, and then we'll give you rewards. If you got coins based on what you did, even if it was just save file, you have a save file for this game on your system or whatever. If you got points for that, I think that's cool. Or even if you like things you download and DLC and all that stuff. I just don't like the idea that it's, at least with Club Nintendo, it's solely tied to you purchasing their products and then taking the extra 5 minutes to go to their website and put in a serial code.
Something they're making that's unintuitive. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's Nintendo, so it's
that's no surprise.
Very unintuitive. But if it was something where it's just like, you know, with the smartphone, take a picture of the little QR code and then it's just done.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that. And with the PlayStation Reward thing, I remember that. And like those the legendary status and all that, that's great. I would have loved that. On Nintendo stuff, like I want people to know how legit I am.
Yeah,
I'm pretty legit.
Yeah, it's funny on the other end of that is, and I remember laughing so hard when right before Wii U came out when they were like, we have no achievement system, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You have to be absolutely kidding me. You know, I thought for sure that was going to be something that was going to be cool, and that if they really were bold, they would have went back into all the virtual console games and gave them whatever, you know, trophies or whatever the hell they were going to call them. Because people would.
Can you imagine?
No, I couldn't imagine because I was really excited about like when Wii U, like September, October, or you know, August, September before Wii U came out. I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. Like, I really think they're gonna do something cool, and I'll go back and buy all that fucking shit. You know, like just to like
go get
just to get the
every Mega Man.
Yeah, like that'd be awesome. You know, and they like it's funny. They on one hand they get. I guess what I'm saying is like on one hand, Microsoft and Sony get like how to reward players in game, right, with achievements and trophies, and why they matter. And people that say they don't matter and they don't care, that's great. A lot of people do like them, and they're more than ever. And on the other hand, is Nintendo not understanding how to reward people in game and not how to interconnect their games with something like trophies or achievements, which was like a laughable mistake. And I still can't believe that they like haven't patched that in yet. But they do understand how to like reward their people with tangible goods. So a combination of the two would be good. But there's something dangerous about tying monetary reward or something to trophies and achievements because of how easily they can be glitched. I mean, this was the same reason why PSP never got trophies to begin with. Is Sony wanted to patch PSP trophies, and they were like, "Well, you guys can just break the shit out of the game, so why would we do that?" And then ruin it for everybody.
Yep.
So they're cognizant of that kind of stuff
too.
So it's a complicated issue.
That's why the Nintendo system is cumbersome. You know what I mean? Because you have to buy it, open it, and it's a one-time use thing. It's not like something, you could just QR and pass to Kevin. He QRs it too.
Kevin, he would do that.
He passes it to Fredo, and Fredo doesn't even know what a Nintendo game is.
Yeah, so we'd stop and just
Monsters.
give up.
Yeah.
He doesn't want no chops.
Yeah, it's a giant can of worms. But I like the idea of it being there. I like the idea of, that option being there for people to belong. Like, it worked the opposite on me, right, of where I buy 2-3 Nintendo games a year, right? Maybe 4, I guess. And so I'd open them up and see it. I'm like, this is too much work. I'm not to go register to go do this. Like, I'm never gonna hit a status that matters.
Reached a point. I don't think that I registered any of the previous. See, this is something right now. I'm saying this. It's like I got so used to not doing it that I didn't register Smash Bros on the 3DS and the Wii U, and I missed out on the Smash Bros soundtrack. I'm so mad about this because I wanted that, but I was like, I'll get to it, and then I never did.
Yeah.
But again, why does it have to be so complicated? It's really not that complicated. I am over exaggerating how complicated this is, but it's not.
But it's a step.
It's definitely not as easy as I want it to be.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, we talk about it because we exist on YouTube and the internet, right? And like you can see on your tweets when you're like, hey, check out this cool thing I did, and you put a link in there. You can see the number of people who are engaged enough to click on the link, and that's just going like this. And it's so few people do it, let alone open a thing. Remember that you're opening it to play the game you just bought. You want to play, to pop it in, to come back. Yeah, it's just like, no thanks, man. No, son.
But Nintendo did do good with they do these deals all the time. And PSN does this too, where it's like, if you buy this game, you get 50% off that game. And like they did recently, there was like a big sale where you buy some of the old Mario Bros games, and the rest of the series you can get cheaper and stuff. And I love stuff like that. I wish that was tied into this reward system, because obviously these are the people that are going to buy Super Mario Bros for the 15th time.
Yeah.
I would like it if Mario Bros 2 and 3 came at a discount or something like that. Only if it was obvious that I had owned them previously and all that, the stuff like that. So I feel like that would be a big step for them, and it could help a lot. And PlayStation 2, they're at the point now where they have these PS1 games, PS2 games, PS3 games, the PlayStation Now. Where if they can come up with something like that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, batch bundling. Like, right, it's smart enough in there to see that you're, they call it the Super Mario pack or whatever. That you
Super
go
Mario
in.
All-Stars, maybe.
I think that's taken. I think that's happened. Maybe call it Super Smash Brothers.
All-Stars.
Brothers.
There you go.